From Javed Miadad's last ball 6 of Chetan Sharma to Venkatesh Prasad showing Amir Sohail who the real boss is, to Misbah ul Haq miscuing a scoop and with it the inaugural World T20 trophy in 2007, to Shaheen Shah Afridi running through India's top order last year in Dubai. Over the years, we've seen some intense, some fascinating contests between India and Pakistan. And there's a reason it is called the biggest rivalry in world cricket, because for more than 1 billion cricket fans from both sides of the border, it isn't just a cricket match. It should be, but it isn't. It's a battle that's fought on social media. The idea of one-upmanship for the fans of the team that wins. And in a world where jingoism has taken a whole new meaning, is it war minus the shooting? Let's find out. We have a lot of guests here today who we talked to about this, who've been part of some of these rivalries, who've covered some of these rivalries. Ashok Malhotra, former Indian cricketer, joins me, former Indian selector as well. Also joining me live from Dubai is Santosh Suri, who, unlike us, will be watching it in Dubai, the rivalry unfold right in front of his eyes. Ashar Zaidi is here with us, Pakistan's senior journalist, who we've woken up because he lives in Canada now. So, जल्दी सुबह इनको उठा दिया है क्योंकि India Pakistan, we're talking about India Pakistan and the big rivalry. And why this becomes so important, Ashok sir, is that the last time we saw India play Pakistan was last year. And we've seen some extremely intense matches. We've seen some, some fights in the middle. And we all wait for matches like this, but there aren't too many because there are no bilateral series. And that's why this is the moment. This is that time of the year when we're talking about India versus Pakistan. How are you seeing this? Because in Dubai, there is only bromance. That's all we've seen. Players are talking to each other from both teams. They're hugging each other. How are you seeing this contest? Ashok sir, unmute. I'm sorry, unmute.
Meha, it is a blockbuster. There is no two ways about it. Because this is a game which everybody dreams of. This bromance, it finishes the moment they toss a coin. It just finishes there. And there is a pressure. I understand politically, Rohit Sharma was right, that it's just another game. There is a lot of tension among the players because anybody can become a hero. Whosoever wins the game for their respective countries can become a hero. And it's a blockbuster. Believe you me, and it's a challenging job. And now we might have 3 games. 3 games. Imagine 3 games, India, Pakistan, back-to-back 3 games in a week's time, which will be unbelievable to say the least. And both the sides are geared up. I understand that Pakistan is missing Shaheen Shah Afridi and we're missing Jasprit Bumrah. But otherwise, both the teams are, I think equally strong. In the 80s, we were intimidated by Pakistan. But then 90s came, then I think Pakistan was intimidated by Indian cricket. But now we seem to be at par. India is playing very well, but now Pakistan, with the Babar Azam coming to the scene, the other cricketers coming in. So they have a very formidable side. So it's an even Stevens game. And anybody in T20, one good over in batting or bowling can turn the game around. And as I said before, it is a blockbuster, and whosoever become a superstar will have to wait and watch.
That's right. क्योंकि आशा भाई हमारे साथ जुड़ गए हैं तो माहौल पहले से ही बना देते हैं पूरे शो का। तो एक शेर से शुरुआत करती हूँ मैं आशा भाई आपके लिए स्पेशली। वो ये है, वो एक दिन था उनका अपना तो सारा जमाना है। वो एक दिन था उनका अपना तो सारा जमाना है। वो हार महज इत्तेफाक थी, कल दुनिया जहां को यही दिखाना है। तो एक
वाह 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 वाह, I didn't know you had that much flair of Urdu poetry with you. अभी आपने खुद शेर चुना है या राजेंद्र जी ने किसी ने आपको लिख के दिया है, वो मैं I'll keep that to you. लेकिन शेर बड़ा खूबसूरत है। अच्छा, before starting and saying anything, first of all मैं ये कहूँगा कि although I'm outside Pakistan, but any Indian or Pakistani who's out of the country, his heart is still in the country. तो आप लोग को पता होगा कि Pakistan is ravaged by a very bad flood and thousands and thousands of people are dying. So even if you guys get a chance, I would say please pray for the people in Pakistan because the situation is really, really dire. And in that scenario, this game becomes even more important. That if Pakistan team can beat India, it's going to sort of bring somewhat relief to the people. At least for those 3 or 4 hours, people are going to, forget their misery and get glued to the game. And as always, from both sides of the countries, I've been to India many times. I know this one game that unites the nation. अच्छा ये तो बात हो गई. अब अगर आप मुझे इजाजत दें कहने के लिए कि was it a fluke last time, इत्तेफाक था या क्या था, तो उसको आप रहने दें. हमने बहुत लंबा इंतजार किया. It was like, what would you say, 20 or 25 years for that victory. We worked hard, we studied the Indians. Yes, it took us a long time to understand your weaknesses and everything, but it was a good thing to do, and guys worked hard for it. और देखें एक बात, अशोक जी अदाबर साहब को नाइस टू सी यू आफ्टर अ लॉन्ग टाइम. एक बात मैं जरूर कहूंगा, लॉट ऑफ पीपल हैव बीन टॉकिंग अबाउट शाहिद अफरीदी एंड ऑन योर साइड इट्स जसप्रीत बुमराह. एक बात मैं आपको रिकॉल कराना चाहूंगा. जस्ट लुक एट द रिकॉर्ड्स ऑफ पाकिस्तान इंडिया मैचेस एट.
Okay, bilkul. At the right time, his audio and connection has gone off. Just when Ashar was meant to tell us something, I'll try and connect with him. But Santosh sir, how are the two teams approaching this game? And I know that, you know, the hype is made around in the media, fans across social media as well. But the players themselves, aa gaye hain. Acha, Ashar bhai, please continue. Sorry, Santosh, I'll just come to you, sir.
Okay. Yes. So I would think that every time we have an India-Pakistan clash, especially on the big stage, we have a new bowling star from Pakistan side come up.
I think I know it's Naseem Shah that he's talking about, but again, it's stuck. We'll try to connect with Ashar bhai again. Yes. Santosh, go ahead. Among the players, I know Rohit Sharma came for a press conference today, and I'm sure he must have been asked this question: how are they approaching this game? Because at the end of the day, you may think it's just a game, but it's, you know, we know how quickly heroes and villains are made in matches like this. I mean, Chetan Sharma, I'm sure, still ruining that one match in which he was hit for a 6 by Javed Miatar. But how is Rohit Sharma and the team approaching this game?
See, at the press conference when Rohit Sharma was asked about he said the media is welcome to create the hype. We have no problem, but inside we know just as we go into the boundary, it's just a game of cricket. So we shut out the outside noise. He has told this many times, and we just treat it as a game between two countries. But I'm sure that inside each and every player feels the pressure of the game, of India-Pakistan game. That cannot be taken out at all. So whether, Rohit Sharma says this or that, but that will always remain the focus, that it's a India-Pakistan game. And see, the organizers have been very smart in drawing up such a draw where it is guaranteed that at least on 2 Sundays, India and Pakistan will clash, because the third team in our group is Pakistan. So even when one of the teams that is bound to lose tomorrow will surely beat Hong Kong, and again A1 and A2 will meet on Feb 4 on come Sunday on September 4th. And if results go their way, then on the coming third Sunday we'll see again India and Pakistan final, like they say here, inshallah. So the organizers have been very smart in doing it. Earlier it used to be Juma. Now it is Sunday. So that's a bit of a change here. So anyhow, that's the other thing. But as far as the strength of the two teams is concerned, like Ashok ji has said, that now the two teams are almost at par, and the team that holds early advantage is surely going to take hold of the game that day. Like Shaheen's opening spell that had 3 quick wickets really changed the things for Pakistan, and they really held the advantage till the end and just ran away to victory. So same way, the teams have to be sure that after the toss, when they go in and play, they get hold of the early advantage, whether batting or bowling. Unless you do that, I'm sure that the teams know that very well.
And that's why India's top 3 becomes so important, Ashok sir, isn't that so? I mean, going into this tournament, we know that Rohit Sharma, he's been scoring runs aggressively, but hasn't really got big scores. With him, KL Rahul, who hasn't got the game time that he needed, even in the Zimbabwe series, you expected that he would get more overs in the middle just to get back. He's coming back from an injury. And then on top of that, Virat Kohli's form, we've been talking about it for more than a while now. The top three and the importance of runs from them in high pressure matches like this. Ashok sir?
Yes, definitely so. But the problem, Meha, is KL Rahul is coming back after a couple of months. Virat Kohli is desperately in need of runs. So the problem is for India, the top three. Rohit Sharma said he wants to play a different brand of cricket. Will KL Rahul and Virat follow that? Because Virat will have to reinvent himself. Because that is not his way. That is not his forte. That is not the way he plays his cricket. So I don't know what kind of a strategy they're going to have. First 6 overs are going to be very, very vital, whichever side bats first. First 6 overs, if you get out to 50 odd without losing a wicket or losing 1 wicket, then you're on to a big total, which can put pressure on the opposition. So I think for India, as far as India is concerned, for me, the key is KL Rahul and Virat Kohli. Can they do the trick? Because for me, if first 10 overs are played between Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul, then whom will you send at number 3? I'm asking a question. At number 3, will you send Virat Kohli? Will you send Hardik Pandya? Will you send Rishabh Pant? Or Surya Kumar Yadav? So for me, that's $1 million question. Because Virat plays in his own way. He accelerates in the last 5 overs. So he might put pressure on the late order batters. So I don't know what kind of a strategy. Do they have the guts to say, okay, 10 overs, 80 runs, now Virat, you wait. Let Surya Kumar Yadav go. Let Rishabh Pant go. Let Hardik Pandya go, and maybe Ravindra Jadeja also. So Virat, first 2-3 overs, if wicket falls, Virat goes in, perfect. It's a tailor-made for Virat. But if 10 overs they play, then I don't know what's going to happen. For me, that is $1 million question, and especially because he has a rest for a month, but he's still out of form. That thing you got to, whenever he walks out, he'll still be thinking of his failures. So, I understand he's out of form. He had a complete rest, but he's still out of form. And as far as KL is concerned, he's also seems to be struggling. He's not is in a full stride. So these are few things which India will have to be careful. But as you said, these are match winners. KL has won a lot of matches. Virat has won a lot of matches. But when India-Pakistan game comes, you normally deliver your best. And maybe these guys are the ones who can turn things around. We are outsiders. We don't have bats and balls in our hands. So these are the guys who can, and you can never write off a great guy.
Yeah, that's right. And there are 2 interviews today of Virat Kohli that have come out. One where he's talking about, to the BCCI, he's talking about the kind of mental makeup that was required for him, what he had to do. He said he'd never done this in his life since he started playing cricket, that he was away from the game for a month, where he didn't pick up the bat. He speaks about that. Then the other is also about how he felt that every player, you could be mentally strong, but every player has a tipping point. You get to a point where you realize that you're not that strong. And he said that I wanted to seek help at that point, and he did that. So I feel like he's doing everything. The process is in place. He knows his game. He's spoken about that as well. Now it's just about how he can get back to form. The good thing is that in T20Is against Pakistan, Virat Kohli plays well. He's got good numbers. That probably shall work in his favor. But just coming back to Pakistan and what we can expect from the team, Shaheen Shah Afridi's absence will be felt undoubtedly, Ashar Bhai. But how do you think they'll be approaching? You were talking about how there's always somebody young, new, who comes in and, who impresses one and all. Do you see that in Naseem Shah? Okay, I think we've seemed to have lost him again. I'll try and connect. But this is another thing with Pakistan, Santosh. I'm sure this is a conversation that is happening within the media as well. Ashar Bhai, did you get my question? Okay, I think the connection keeps coming and going. We try to fix it, but the fact that, in Shaheen Shah Afridi's absence, with Pakistan not having that experienced bowling attack, how much of a difference will that make? Is that a conversation? Santosh, sir? Okay.
Asked to the, yeah, it was, this question was asked to Babar Azam, and he said, see, the Pakistan team over the years has shown the ability to pull a rabbit out of the hat, and we are not short of any bench strength. We have young upcoming fast bowlers who can, in the absence of regular bowlers, become heroes overnight, like Shaheen Shah had become hero in just one series. So he said, same way, we have a couple of guys who are capable of, turning the tide in the absence of regular bowlers. Plus, Pakistan have included Hassan Ali, the experienced bowler who has troubled the Indian batsmen in previous encounters. So they are confident that despite the absence of a couple of fast bowlers, the strength is coming.
Okay. Okay, the other thing also being how dependent Pakistan are on their top three who've been scoring the bulk of runs for them since that T20 World Cup last year, and how much of a impact that will have on the team. If you get Babar Azam out, if you get Mohammad Rizwan out, if you get Fakhar Zaman out, what then for Pakistan? Can they get to a good enough total? That's another question. But also coming back to India, Ashok sir, just how good Suryakumar Yadav and Hardik Pandya have been. And that augurs well for this team. We are obviously with an eye on the T20 World Cup later this year. In fact, in less than 2 months, you're looking at how good India's middle order has also been, something that was a problem earlier on, where your top order was scoring runs, and then in the World Cup, they also didn't manage to score as many runs. But now you have a Suryakumar Yadav, Mr. 360, who's been playing well. Hardik Pandya, a completely different player, a genuine all-rounder right now. I mean, it's so exciting to watch Hardik Pandya with the bat, with the ball. He can come up and down the order. He can bowl in the power plays, middle overs. He was so good when he was bowling earlier against West Indies. And then you see him even during the death. So you see that India have a strong middle order right now.
Definitely a very, very strong middle order. And we've forgotten a name, Rishabh Pant, who can turn the tide. Yeah, although he's not been very, I would say, very effective in T20 cricket so far, because people seem to have sorted him out a bit. But then he's Rishabh Pant, who knows how to win the matches. He finds ways to win the matches. Suryakumar Yadav is we all talk about 360 degrees. He is probably Indian version of that. I wouldn't say a poor version, probably a equally good version as A.B. de Villiers and Hardik Pandya. He has been a revelation since he has come back from injury. He is a very, very matured as a batter and a bowler. And if I say in general, he seems to be a matured cricketer. He's so matured that I see him as a skipper not too far away in future, because he is doing a great job. He's settling down, he consolidates, he can anchor an innings, and then he bowls his good 4 overs, picks up wickets. So that is what he is. He is a plus man, and not to forget his fielding. So altogether, a wonderful middle order. But the question mark still remains at the top.
That's right.
Rohit Sharma, despite of his saying, I will go after the bowling, I'll have different brand of cricket, he has not been able to score big runs, which is his forte. And the same with KL Rahul, who's coming back after a long layoff, and then Virat Kohli. So for me, the worrying part is the top three. The middle order, I know they can consolidate. Suryakumar Yadav can play a blinder, Rishabh can play a blinder, Hardik can play a blinder, and even Jadeja, no mark with the bat. So we all know they are very, very capable players. But the first 6 overs, as I said before, are going to be very, very crucial. And these 3 are going to bat in those 6 overs.
Absolutely. Okay, now Ashar Zaidi joins us back. Every time I've tried to ask him tough questions about Pakistan's weak middle order, Pakistan's inexperienced bowling attack, somehow the net is disconnected. So let's get to him and ask him what he thinks of those questions. Should we begin with how Pakistan is completely dependent on the top three, or should we talk about the inexperienced bowling lineup where Naseem Shah hasn't played a single T20 international till now? Ashar bhai? Kya? Again, we've, yes. Can you hear me now?
Can you?
Okay. Okay, there's again another, again he seems to have disappeared, but we'll try to connect with him because these questions must be asked. But just coming back, Santosh sir, the other thing also between India and Pakistan, I mean, of course, all the conversation around, you know, how India will be approaching this, given that they've had such a good record in World Cups, you know, against this team, Asia Cup as well, but just the fact that they lost in the T20 World Cup last year, more than the fact that they lost, the manner in which they lost. You know, 10 wickets, completely thrashed. There was no way that they were completely outplayed in every department. Keeping that in mind, how do you think they'll be approaching this? Also, this whole new aggressive approach. What if you lose your top three? We've already spoken about lack of form. We've spoken about lack of game time. You lose, which is what happened in the World T20 match last year, where India were 36 for 3 in the power plays, and then from there on, it was only Virat Kohli who took us to 150 odd. So how do you see this? How do you see this new approach when it backfires in a big tournament?
Absolutely, that will be the real test for India in tomorrow's game. The top three, like Ashok ji said, if they negotiate the first 6 overs properly and are 50 odd for 1, then it's advantage India. But if they lose those wickets and you expose the middle order very early on, then there is going to be pressure on the batting lineup. But luckily, like we saw in the last ODI against England in Manchester, how well Rishabh Pant and Surya Kumar and Hardik Pandya and of course Ravindra Jadeja came together and won us the match from hopeless position. Probably that's what we should, the Indian team should have in mind, rather than what happened to them 1 year ago in Dubai, where probably the first time in a World Cup game they lost to Pakistan. And it was, of course, a very horrendous defeat, 10 wickets defeat. But like Rohit Sharma said at the press conference, that of course it is not going to affect us. We are going to take lessons from those defeat, from that defeat of that day, but it is not going to haunt us. It is behind our back of our minds, and it is not going to influence us. And if we at all there is anything, we have taken the lessons from that game, and we are going to have an aggressive approach against the bowlers. And new brand of cricket is the aggressive new brand of cricket is going to be in front of us. And whatever may be the situation, I think this Indian team, like the English team, have learned that aggression is the best way forward. So I think in tomorrow's match, it is going to be the aggressive brand of cricket that was going to come to the fore, and whatever that happened 1 year ago or happened in the past is not going to affect the Indian team.
Okay, let's now, we have the whole of tomorrow to talk about strategy, tactics. We'll also ask you whether Rohit Sharma said anything about what the playing 11 is going to be. I know he wouldn't have, because that's Rohit Sharma, but we'll ask you. First, let's just talk about some of the things we remember about India-Pakistan matches. Ashok sir, you have been part of so many of these matches. Tell us some interesting incidents. I mean, I was reading one which I think Virendra Sehwag had spoken about Shoaib Akhtar, where I think Shoaib Akhtar was bowling short to him and kept asking him to hook. And Virendra Sehwag told him, and Sachin Tendulkar was at the other end, and he said, "Wo tera baap khada hua hai wahan par, ask him to hook." And sure enough, when Sachin Tendulkar was on strike, Shoaib Akhtar again bowled a short delivery, and he was hooked for a 6. And Virendra Sehwag said to Shoaib Akhtar ki, "Beta beta hota hai, baap baap hota hai." But that's one incident that I heard him say, and I remembered it. What, Have you been part of any such instances which were interesting? Because there are always some interesting ones when India and Pakistan are playing.
When India Pakistan play, these incidents do happen.
Yeah.
Even so much so that even a friendly game, believe you me, even a charity game is a competitive game. They when before the toss, they're all very friendly, and they will tell you, oh, bowl slowly, it's a charity game. And I remember playing in one, and Waqar was playing, Wasim was playing, Shoaib was playing, and they were saying bowl. It was for Imran Khan's hospital. It was a charity game in England, and our guys bowled dolly deliveries, and they hammered us all over the park. But the moment their turn came, they were bouncing our guys. So believe you me, this bromance or whatever you call it, it disappears the moment you step over the line, and nobody wants to give an inch. That is where and India, Pakistan, the cricketers are best of friends only off the field, not on the field. On the field, they are competing, and they are competing. Believe you me, it's a very, very competitive game, and it is, as I said before, it's a blockbuster, and they know their life depends on it. Although in this tournament, they have a chance to redeem themselves. Before that, tournaments, you lose a game, whether you win the World Cup or not, if you've beaten Pakistan, you have won the World Cup. Same with Pakistan. If they've beaten India, they've won the World Cup. So this is how important, how big this game is. And believe you me, the players, they are very, very friendly. Not now, even before, but the moment you walk onto the park, it's war.
It is war minus the shooting. But we've got to also ask, Santosh sir, in your time covering all these matches, anything that has stood out? I mean, I'm sure there have been instances where you've heard players say something to each other, off the field, maybe in a press conference. Do you remember any of those?
See, the most interesting thing that I have noticed, I was a young cricket follower then. It happened during the 1971 war was going, the Bangladesh war, and 3 players from India and 3 players from Pakistan were in the rest of world game. And, the series was going on in Australia. In that we had Bedi, Engineer and Gavaskar, and on their side it was Intikhab, Zahir Abbas and Asif Masood. And there was always this thing of how the war is going Bangladesh war is going, and how these 6 players are easily, mingling there, and how would they react to each other? Are they killing each other in the dressing room or what? But then we had a lot of photographs from Australia coming where all the 6 were, partying, joking and talking to each other. So after the war ended, this incident, the series went on till Feb 1972. So what happened is that all these photographs coming on from Australia did, of course, there was no live telecast then. So it is the tension between the two, nations that, 3 cricketers on this side and 3 cricketers on that side are going on, and the war is over. Let's get on back to our normal life. So over the years, see, cricket has played a role where the relations between the 2 countries have eased out because of cricket. I remember during Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, when he was the Prime Minister, he sent a cricket team across in 2004-5, and that eased out the tension. And again, next year, when Manmohan Singh ji was the Prime Minister, India went across, and again it eased out. So these cricket series and cricket encounters and the behavior and the friendship between the 2 rival nations has helped over the years to ease out the tensions between the 2, warring nations in the past also and present also. What we are saying as romance has really affected has eased out a bit of tension that is going on between the 2 field, not only as far as cricket is concerned, but also as far as relations between the 2 nations. See, the biggest thing is that India is hosting the World Cup next year, and Pakistan team has to be given visa. Yeah. So unless we have a better relations, I don't think the we will be able to, host them easily. So probably it's a good thing. A
Yeah.
small baby step has been taken to improving the relations between the two teams with the upcoming World Cup next year. Of course, these are my views.
Sure.
People may differ on this.
Absolutely, but no, you are right about the whole the kind of respect that one sees it when they're meeting each other from the videos, even if it's being done for camera. You're right about the World Cup next year in India, and Pakistani players being given the visa. Is Ashar Zaidi finally back? That's what I want to know.
I'm trying my best, but the internet is not letting me have some fun today.
We wanted to have some fun, but let's try this. How do you look at this encounter, Pakistan without Shah Afridi?
Well, as I was trying to say, I'm not sure how much of my thoughts went on here because of the internet issue. And I was saying that whenever Pakistan and India are meeting in the last 5 or 6 encounters that you see, we have a new star coming up every time. Yes, Shaheen Afridi is not there. And I heard that Waqar Yunus's tweet that Indian batsmen must be very happy that Shaheen is not there. They must be dancing. It's created quite a stir in India. So on a joke side, but we have some good surprises for you. We have Naseem Shah, we have Mohammad Hasnan there, and we have Hassan Ali back. He is the ghost in the team, or the Darane wala in the team, the way he pumps up and gets the wickets and everything. So we have the entertainment part covered for you in Hassan Ali. But I guess Hasnan and Naseem Shah are going to be two vital people to look out. What I'm missing from this side, apart from everyone, is Shoaib Malik. Now,
And we seem to have lost him again. Okay, the connection just is not helping us today. We're not connecting with Ashar Zaidi. But valid point there that somehow Pakistan, and we've always been fascinated by this, Ashok sir, as well, as to how Pakistan just keeps bringing these new young fast bowlers who are so good. A lot of them bowling at 146, 150. They're fast, they're accurate. But just coming back now, it's also about it's also about boasting a little bit, isn't that so? I mean, not just with what you've done on the field. I mean, I can imagine fans doing it to each other on social media, but among players as well from both sides, I took your wicket or I did this. So some of it is also that, just like I said in the beginning of the intro, one-upmanship.
Yes, definitely so, Meha. The problem is both the sides have superstars. No other country, have these kind of superstars.
Yeah.
Most of the countries that the team is a superstar, not the players, the individuals.
Yeah.
Go to New Zealand, go to England, go to Australia. They're all big players, but they're not superstars. They're not bigger than life. But in India and Pakistan, they're bigger than life. And that is what happens. If you lose, that is what you have to pay the consequences. If you win, you get the bouquets. If you don't, then the brickbats will fall. So that is where the problem is. And when Ashar was talking about the fast bowler, Hassan, if you remember, he's a Indian son-in-law. He's married to an Indian girl. So definitely that, and his record is not very, very good. And they're going to miss Shaheen Afridi because he's a left-hander and he brings the ball back in, and which is I think with both KL and Rohit struggle when the ball comes back in, especially from a left hand. So definitely it's a break for us. But we are not thinking of that. We are trying to play our game. But the fact is, it is going to be a tough thing. Believe you me, both the sides will be nervous.
Yeah.
Initially they will have jitters. They'll be nervous. Once 1-2 overs go, then they might get back in the game. So it is going to be a tough sport. It is going to be a very tough game and survival of the fittest. And believe you me, this game, I don't know why I keep saying blockbuster, because it is a blockbuster. It is definitely a blockbuster. There's nothing bigger than that in cricket. Yeah. You talk about Ashes, you talk about anything, but there is not a bigger game than India-Pakistan. The moment you announce India-Pakistan, the tickets are go out.
They're sold out. Yeah.
So that is how big this game is. And everybody, believe me, we and people across the border. And before that, when India and Pakistan never had good terms, whatever terms we had was thanks to cricket diplomacy.
Yeah.
So that is what it is. How important cricket, even for both the nation, even for the politics. So definitely, since cricket has gone out of the window, we have cut ties with the cricket from past.
Okay, we'll try to connect with Ashok sir as well. We seem to have lost him. But this is what Virat Kohli has said about Babar Azam. Now, this is in an interview to the host broadcaster, and that's going to come up on your screen, where he said that I haven't. Ashok sir, I'm so sorry. I will come back to you. We're just taking this quote from Virat Kohli on what he said about Babar Azam, and he said, and we saw them, if you all remember, we saw them talking to each other, just, asking each other how they're doing. So that conversation, there's a video, a photograph that went viral. So this is what he said. He said, I haven't seen his attitude or approach changing towards me, which is a very good sign of someone with good foundation. Of his upbringing, his cricketing foundation, it is very solid. These kind of players' characters go a long way and inspire a lot of people. I congratulated him on how he's playing and how amazing it is to watch him play. I wish him all the very best. He deserves all of it. We need players like him to keep world cricket exciting. This is what Virat Kohli has said about Babar Azam, who is right now in the form of his life. He is #1 in ranked batsman in ODIs and T20 cricket. There's nothing that Babar Azam can do wrong at the moment. And this is really appreciation coming from one great for the other. But just coming back now, we've talked enough about India's batting, India's bowling though. We've also spoken about Shaheen Shah Afridi being absent from Pakistan's bowling. But for India, Jasprit Bumrah being out, Ashok sir, Harshal Patel being out, how do you see that? Though you found Bhuvneshwar, who's found his swing, so he's good. Arshdeep Singh has shown how good he can be in the death overs. But we will miss the Jasprit Bumrah in this Asia Cup.
Definitely, Meha. We're going to miss Jasprit Bumrah. But the good news for India is the form of Bhuvneshwar Kumar. He seems to be in good form now. And Arshdeep Singh. I think he's 10 times a better bowler than Harshal Patel. We're not going to miss Harshal Patel. Because Harshal Patel, he's one-dimensional bowler. And I don't think he's going to be very successful on those bouncy Australian wickets. So it might be a blessing in disguise. Arshdeep seems to be the guy who can turn the tide. He might play for India for a number of years because he seems to be the guy who bowls well in the power play and bowls well in the slot overs. So he is the guy, a guy who can turn things around. And I'll wait and see what kind of a strategy Indian team goes with. Will they go with 3 spinners? 3 spinners and 3 medium pacers. That could be the thing because we have got Jadeja an all-rounder, Hardik Pandya an all-rounder. So it might be, since Ashwin is in the side, he is in the side, then he should play. Yeah. Otherwise you should not take Ashwin in the side. Once he's in the side, he should play Ashwin, Yajwinder Chahal and Jadeja. 3 spinners, Arshdeep, Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Hardik Pandya. This gives us a very, very formidable look. And we have a very, very strong batting lineup. So on paper, we're looking very, very good. I don't know whether we can turn it into the in the ground. We'll wait and watch. But the fact is, we are looking a very, very formidable side.
What are the conditions like, Santosh sir, there? I mean, traditionally we've seen a lot of help for spinners, but then we also saw in the World Cup last year how well the fast bowlers were doing. What is the pitch going to be like? And this whole thing of will India go in with 2 specialist spinners, is that something that they look to do?
See, what the both skippers for tomorrow's match said that they have not actually the practice has been going on at the ICC Academy, which is a couple of kilometers away from the main cricket stadium. So all the practice is not at the original ground. So what both the captains have said that we will rely much on this evening's match between Sri Lanka and Afghanistan, the opener today, and see how it is going. After that only they'll decide what type of pitch is going to be like and whether there's going to be the dew factor. But there is no doubt that, on this Indian Asian pitches, spinners have more say But then let's see what happens tomorrow after today's game and what strategy the Indian team is going to adopt, or even the Pakistan. Are they going to realize more on pace bowlers or rely more on the spinners? That will know only at the time of the toss. But going by what we have seen in the past, at certain times there have been spinners, especially in Sharjah and Dubai. There have been pace bowlers who have made their presence felt.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to say right now what type of conditions the teams are going to face tomorrow. And like Rohit said, bhai, when he was asked कि क्या 11 खिलाओगे, he said भाई कुछ तो suspense रहने दो, कल toss तक तब देख लेना कि क्या हम करेंगे. So didn't let out the their strategy
Yeah.
to the public. So they want to play close to the chest and let the media guess and debate till the toss is over.
There's such a sense of ease around him. I mean, you see him the way he. There's a video that went viral today of Rohit Sharma hugging a Pakistani fan, where the Pakistani fan, and there was of course this there's a little wire, this thing that was separating the fan from Rohit Sharma, and the fan said, भाई प्लीज बस एक बार मुझे गले लगा लो. He said, मैं कैसे लगाऊं, यहाँ पे ये जाली है बीच में. He's like, बस लगा लो, ऐसे करके लगा लो. And Rohit Sharma is like, चलो लगा लेता हूँ. And then all of them of course cheered. And there's a lot to like about just the way he goes about things. But Ashar bhai is back. Hopefully he'll be here for a while, because there are so many questions we wanted to ask you. But another difficult question. Santosh sir was talking about wicket-taking spinner. Is there a wicket-taking spinner in the Pakistan squad?
Santoshi, if you remember, I mean, you have seen much more cricket than me. In Sharjah, in Dubai, and all these places, Pakistan has always performed with a fast bowler on these merry-bound dead wickets. Be it Imran Khan has given his best performance over here, Wasim Akram has taken hat tricks. I actually don't remember a spinner winning us a match in Sharjah or Dubai. Correct me, sir, if I'm wrong. I mean, as much cricket as I've seen, it's always the fast bowlers. And as you go to the last game, दो बॉलों का खेल था Meha ji. It was those two balls that Shaheen Afridi pitched. And the interesting part was that again, during the entire tournament, he could not repeat those two balls. Let's go back to the match against Australia. I mean, a fast bowler bowling at 140 and Matthew Wade is hitting him back sixer on the third man, sir, and fine leg. I mean, I haven't seen anything like that. So that was a good day for us. Jaise Meha ji ne kaha, we had to win. Babar Azam had to take the credit for being the first captain to win a match against India. So jo do balls padi, and I was listening to Vikrant Gupta yesterday, and he said those were the two balls that turned the game. Yeah. So bowling combination kuch bhi ho, we as a Pakistani nation, we have traditionally relied on fast bowlers, starting from Sarfraz Nawaz, Waqar Yunus, Wasim, Shoaib Akhtar. We have very seldom had a spinning icon. I think Abdul Qadir was there, Saqlain Mushtaq was there. Apart from these two, we don't have a spinning ideal for the young boys to look up to. All they look up to is Wasim, Waqar being a fast bowler. And let me tell you the interesting thing, I think we have touched this before too. In a Pakistan, unless you and until you don't ball 140, you're not even invited to a camp. They say, yaar, average bowler hai. Okay? I mean, if you're in 35, 130 age, they say average bowler hai, bahar nikalo. And in 140 range, I would recall at least 2 dozen bowlers waiting to knock in the international door. So having said that, yes, Imad Wasim was a good factor. We don't have them. We have Nawaz. We have other couple of guys who can mix and match. Yes, one player I'm really missing in this squad, and he's still good enough to be in, is Shoaib Malik. Now, he's the kind of player, he can stick in with the bat. He's an excellent fielder. He can bowl those 3 or 4, crucial overs and nip in 1 or 2 balls when the wickets are actually needed. So he is, I would say, look at any of the previous Pakistan victories, 2009 World Cup or any other place. He's a person who sort of gel things around. But keeping that aside, I think Pakistan team is very balanced, just as Indian team is balanced. The factor which, and you guys were talking about Babar Azam and Virat Kohli, and this one point I would really like to touch about these two guys. The best part of these two guys, Ashok sir, please correct me if I'm wrong, is that they show you that you can score runs per ball or even more per ball while playing the traditional beautiful cricket. I mean, you don't have to do the lathi charge कि आए जी घुमाना शुरू कर दिया, घूम के बैटिंग कर रहे हैं, ये कर रहे हैं, and they still score runs. So they are good ideals for youngsters. कि भाई if you play the right cricketing shots, you can be beautiful, you can be poetic and still score runs. So coming back to it, Pakistan is not too concerned with spinners. Spinners is something we keep for balance. कि यार ठीक है, fast bowler नहीं चला तो वो चल जाएगा. So we have
Confidence
Naseem
बहुत
Shah,
है.
they were good rookie. Yes, please.
मैं कह रही हूँ confidence बहुत है.
That's what else do we have? We don't have that good system like India does. We don't have that much money going into it. I mean, what Babar Azam has earned in his entire career, a young guy like Ishan Kishan playing 1 or 2 series of IPL would have made that. So wisdom, confidence is all the things that Pakistan cricket is made of. That's our secret recipe. And that's what we come, as they say in Punjabi, Mundia Pajo. That's all we have.
See, what Meha Ashar has said, he has hit the nail on the head. You know, if you look at Pakistan thing, till they have Pakistani coaches, they were very good. You know, they even if they needed 28 runs and 4 balls, they'll say, Kaptan ji, mere ko bhejo, main 6 chhakke pa diyanga. You know, 4 chhakke pa diyanga. Without even realizing it's only 24. But that attitude was there. But since they had these foreign coaches saying thank you, sorry, please, so that their attitude, you know, that carefree attitude has gone out of the window. That is why it has taken Pakistan some time to come back. And when you talk about Babar Azam, I think Rizwan is the key, more than Babar. The Rizwan is what Sehwag was to Sachin Tendulkar, Saurav Ganguly's previous selection in Rahul Dravid. Rizwan sets the ball rolling. So Babar takes his time, consolidates, and can bat 20 overs. So that is where the thing is. If India has to win, they have to get rid of Rizwan as quickly as possible because he can turn the game around.
Ashok, you want to comment on that? Hanji.
Sorry to say, Sir Rizwan is doing his mock shots practice today too, so you guys need to be wary about him. He does the mock shots and he comes into the game and then starts hitting boundaries.
Chaliye, completely out of time, but thank you so much, gentlemen. We'll continue this coverage all of tomorrow till the match starts and then after the big match. But that's it from us. Thank you so much, Ashok Malhotra, for joining us. Santosh Suri, Ashar Zaidi. Hopefully, the network's going to be better tomorrow and we can ask you all the tough questions. And you always come up with sharp replies. So I can expect you to do that tomorrow as well. But thank you once again. That's it then on this special. News9 Sports is what you need to subscribe to for all the latest from the world of sports. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.